Hello, my name is Naomi Hunter, and today I'll be talking to you about this piece, Untitled, A Portrait of Ross in LA, by Felix Gonzalez-Torres, first shown in 1991. But firstly, when you think of the AIDS crisis, what do you think of? Do you even think about it at all? But if you remember, if you knew or know someone affected, what do you think of when it springs back into your memories? Is it the protests? Princess Diana shaking hands with and hugging AIDS patients? Maybe the LGBTQ+ community as a whole? Maybe the art and protest signs gave the powerless, scared, and dying a voice? What about the infected blood scandal, the biggest scandal in NHS history? Or maybe it's just the ribbon and the 1st of December, a day to remember, to look ahead, but also to think about our own modern problems with the disease. But you want to know what I think about? A Pile of Sweets, first shown in the Art Institute of Chicago in 1991. I first found out about this piece from a YouTube video about impactful art, but quite ironically, this is the only piece that really stuck with me. When people say a picture says 1,000 words, this piece tells a million stories, all very similar, and all the same tragic ending that has and always will affect the queer community, those with blood disorders, and many, many more. This piece of art made me realize how much art gives a voice to those who are no longer with us, such as the artist, Felix Gonzalez-Torres' partner, Ross Laycock, who died of AIDS-related complications in January of 1991, the same year this piece was first shown. The thing about this piece, like many of Gonzalez-Torres' other works, is that it is interactable. You're encouraged to take a sweet from the pile that has been individually wrapped in colourful cellophane, and after that, you can do what you want with it. Eat it, throw it away, give it to someone else. Doesn't matter, really. After all, it will be replaced. At one point, the Art Institute of Chicago was replenishing it twice weekly, and on average, added 7 to 9 kilograms a week. This seemingly messy pile of sweets, though, does have a specific weight. Similar to Gonzalez's other works, it seems nonsensical, messy, or even random, but every piece has been incredibly thought through, the weight of the pile included. It's the weight of Ross Laycock when he was healthy. The sweets keep being replenished to keep his ideal weight, until they just aren't. Eventually, they'll just fade away into nothing. To me, it represents how, if you interact with a person, you take away a bit of their time, their health, their energy, but it doesn't matter because it will be replaced. Unless you have AIDS, then every piece of time, health, and energy will not be replaced. Untitled, A Portrait of Ross in LA mirrors the way Gonzalez-Torres was forced to watch, helpless as his lover wasted away in front of him. Many also see the action of the audience taking a piece and eventually throwing it away as the way the government's turned and continue to turn a blind eye to the suffering that's lasted for so long. But also look at the sweets. They're rainbow-coloured. This isn't by accident. This piece could also represent how the fact that the LGBTQ+ community was allowed to suffer and disappear during this crisis. But to me, this piece isn't just about death and dying. Oh no, it's about so much more than that. To me, it represents how much love was in their relationship. Gonzalez-Torres made this for Ross Laycock, similar to how you get your partner a box of chocolates on Valentine's Day. It's a love letter from the artist to his late lover. It's a representation of how he loved him until there was nothing left, and how he wants everyone else to experience the love the two men had for each other. This piece is still in many galleries around the world, which to me not only represents the love and loss that Gonzalez had towards Laycock, but also the love and loss millions of others face around the world. This piece isn't just about two gay men in the 90s, it's about so much more than that. But this isn't where the story ends. Gonzalez died in 1996, aged just 38. But the same year he made Ross in LA, he also made Untitled, Lover Boys. This, similar to Ross in LA, is comprised of sweets, either in a corner or in a pile on the floor. It's the combined weight of Ross Laycock and Felix Gonzalez-Torres, but the main difference is that the pile will never stop being replenished. It's a representation of the two's eternal loves even after both of their deaths. The fact as well that it's one large pile rather than two distinct ones could also represent the solidarity that was needed during the crisis. I can only imagine what it must have been like to have been an openly queer person while you're being blamed and physically and verbally abused for a disease that's spreading, and it could kill you at seemingly any moment. Gonzalez-Torres was one of them people who died, but he was aware of it. But he was also aware that his partner was going to die, and having to go through that must have been terrible for him. And that's especially evidenced in this piece, Untitled, Perfect Lovers, first seen in 1987, the same year Laycock was giving a devastating diagnosis of AIDS. In a letter to Ross, Gonzalez-Torres writes, "Don't be afraid of the clocks. They are our time. Time has been so generous to us. We conquered fate by meeting at a certain time in a certain space. We are a product of the time. Therefore, we give back credit where it is due. Time. We are synchronized. Now, forever, I love you." After Laycock died, Gonzalez allowed the piece to be widely replicated. If one clock stopped, the batteries restarted, and they were both in sync once again. But to me, this doesn't deny the fact that it fell out of sync in the first place. Gonzalez even admitted himself he made this piece to confront the little time the two had left together on this earth. But also, look at the clocks. They're machine-made, they're boring, they're plain, they're white. They're not big, grand ones, they're not rainbow-coloured, they don't tick loudly. They're not ones you'd expect to find in an art gallery. I mean, look around you, they'd be completely out of place here. But to me, this further emphasizes how Gonzalez also made these pieces for anyone who'd known the time was ticking on their relationship with someone they loved, whether that was because they were dying or because they were just simply falling out of tune with each other. But to me, it's another representation of loss overall, made up of individual pieces that show Gonzalez-Torres' love towards Ross Laycock. But what does that mean? Love. It gets thrown around all over the place. But to me, it's best suited by the Greek word pragma. And this is an everlasting love built on endurance, commitment, and companionship. It's a bond forged through attraction that is strengthened by going through something really difficult together, such as being openly gay during the AIDS crisis. It's also strengthened by starting a family together, which was something these two men couldn't do simply due to their sexuality. All three pieces I've shown you are about Felix Gonzalez-Torres' love for Ross Laycock, and Gonzalez having to cope with his death and the inevitable end of his own life. But at the time, this was terrifying. The art galleries, the media, the politicians, they couldn't say this was unacceptable gay art because it was relatable to anyone of any race, gender, sexuality who'd had to watch as someone they loved wasted away in front of them. And that was so much more terrifying to an art world that had allowed itself to profit off the outrage of queer artists and their artworks. My question going into this was about whether the artwork by Felix Gonzalez-Torres represented the love or the loss of the AIDS crisis. And doing research, I found out it was both, but it was so much more at the same time. All the pieces are about watching someone you love waste away in front of you. They're about the way the LGBTQ+ community was allowed to suffer as the world ignored them. Gonzalez-Torres created sculptures that try to bring disease to light and try to break the taboo, which the Felix Gonzalez-Torres Foundation continue to do and continue to show his work even after his death. But the AIDS crisis definitely isn't over, as in 2021, 650,000 people died of HIV-related causes. And the 1st of December is World AIDS Day. And luckily for many suffering, there are more treatments and options available than ever to help people. There are even medications to prevent transmission of HIV. But the problem is, the stigma still persists. And that's why pieces of art like this are so important, because they give faces to the seemingly endless lists of numbers and statistics. Think about it, 650,000 people. You can't imagine that. It's not something we can do as humans. But pieces of artwork like this, they remind us that those were people, real-life people, who had hopes, dreams, ambitions, loves, hates, relationships. And this piece is so important, because in all of our lifetimes, having to deal with COVID, You see those reports on the news, all the numbers of people who've died, and they don't seem like people anymore. But this piece reminds you that people who died had people who cared about them. And luckily for Laycock, he had someone who cared about him enough to create a piece of artwork out of him. And this is why this art piece represents 2 men and millions of others. It's a reminder of what has happened, but what we cannot be allowed from happening again. Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi. That was very passionate. I didn't know the work. Is it a one-off? Is it reproducible? Does it appear in different museums?
Yeah, it is reproducible. I think it's all around the world, really. And I think that's one of the most beautiful parts about it, is the fact that it's not designed to just be in one place at one time. Anyone can see it, which is really important, especially for Felix Gonzalez-Torres, because he made this piece for it to be seen, not for it to be in like a back cupboard somewhere. He wanted this piece to be all over the world because it brought comfort to people who'd lost someone. It brought comfort if you knew your partner was dying of whether that's a terminal illness, an addiction, or a mental illness. And that's why it's really important, because you can have it anywhere, really. You could have it here if you wanted it in the corner of a room somewhere.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.